Good morning, everyone. Good Monday morning to you. August 5th, 6:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, baseball, football, basketball. Let's get to it. Now, I lied. Let's not get to it. Before we start talking about sports, just really quickly want to talk about some things that are happening in the world. Now, this by no means is going to be a political conversation. I'm not going to have political conversations here. This is a sports outlet. Hopefully you enjoy this. This is the DaveTalksSports podcast. Hopefully you enjoy this video podcast and the sports that I talk, the raw opinions that I give, some information that I impart, hopefully. But this is not going to be a political conversation. So, with that being said, this is a human being issue. We're all human beings. We're all from different places. We're all unique in our own ways. Nobody deserves to be killed for any reason. That's through no fault of their own. They're innocent. And today we're talking about gun violence. Mass shootings throughout this country. You know, they're running rampant. It's not an opinion, it is a fact. So, while this is not political in any way, I'm not going to show my hand, show my cards, or lean either direction. I'm just looking into a camera saying it needs to stop. Innocent lives are lost every single day because of shootings and mass shootings. And if there's stricter gun laws, then we don't have to worry about this as much. And again, not political, just a statement for me as a human being. I think the unfortunate truth, though, is that people make money off guns. And when, unfortunately, money does actually make the world go round, things of this nature are not going to change. And to transition to sports, it goes the same way as a sports conversation we were having at CBS Sports Radio Network just a couple hours ago. Okay, my job, being the board operator and sometimes the producer. Tonight I was the producer. I had to get a guest, and the guest came on to talk about football. And we're talking about the NFL and the potential of the CBA changing and, potentially being a season made of 18 games in a regular season instead of 16. And very simple answer. That's not going to change because unless the same amount of games are given to the owners, meaning the same amount of revenue is given to the owners. Money will not be taken out of the pockets of the owners, whether it's good or bad for the health of the players. The owners have the control, they have the power in the NFL. They're billionaires who pay millionaires. It's pretty a simple formula. That format is not going to change unless more money or the same amount of money can be kept in the pockets of the owners. So they're not going to just subtract preseason games because they're useless or people get hurt or nobody's watching. Well, somebody's watching. And somebody's buying tickets and food. And so you're not taking money out of the owner's pockets. And it's the same thing that we're talking about here. You're not taking money out of people's pockets. And that's the unfortunate truth. Excuse me. But I wish there was something that could be done. One more serious note before we get into the fun that is sports. So this intertwines with my job and some news that broke in the NFL as well. Longtime NFL writer Don Banks passed away yesterday. 57 years old. Apparently he went in his sleep. I don't have all the details. And I'm very sad for him and for his family. What's really crazy about that, I don't know Don Banks. I've never met Don Banks. I've never even spoken to Don Banks. But in my quest for looking for a guest who could come on the radio show that I work for and talk about the NFL, I have an NFL media guide that I can go through and look up radio broadcasters, TV broadcasters, and writers that are assigned to the league and also to different teams. And one of the people that I sent a text out to yesterday afternoon on Sunday August 4th at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time was Don Banks. Again, I've never met him, never spoken to him. More than half of these writers and other people that work in sports that I reach out to, I never met before. I've never spoken to before. I'm just, the company that I work for at CBS Sports Radio Network, I can address them as I'm one of the producers on a show, and I'll usually get a response. And it's just crazy. On the first day I ever tried to text this person, that I learned a couple hours later that he had passed away earlier that morning. Just crazy, and I'm really sorry to hear about this. And you see all over Twitter different stories about Don Banks, and he was a very well respected writer, Sports Illustrated and other different outlets, but an NFL writer, and again he's passed at 57. So now to a lighter note, a little bit more fun note, I hope. We talk about baseball here in New York and elsewhere. We have the Astros with a no-hitter. Okay, it wasn't one pitcher because that's rare these days. Maybe you saw Walker Buehler with a complete game, 15 strikeouts over the weekend, but that's rare these days. So the Astros no-hitter, of course, involved like 14 pitchers. It's just ridiculous. I think it involved 4 pitchers. So Aaron Sanchez, one of the new additions. It's not just Zach Greinke. It's Aaron Sanchez who came over to the Astros at the trade deadline. Threw 6 no-hit innings through 92 pitches and gets pulled out of the game. It's just the way that baseball is going. So, yes, the Astros no-hit the Mariners, but with 4 pitchers. This is the part where we pull away from the curb and you join me on the rest of my commute home from CBS Sports Radio Network. I, of course, am your host, Dave Ettinger of the Dave Talk Sports podcast. This is episode number 33. And you can find me on Twitter as well, at Dave Ettinger2, as well as on my Facebook page and website, also named Dave Talk Sports. And you're watching me here on my YouTube channel named Dave Talk Sports, where you can subscribe below this video and also leave some comments about anything that I talked about today. So, hope you are enjoying. Still, let's keep it in baseball. The Astros are very good, obviously. They added Zach Greinke and Aaron Sanchez. Sanchez not going to pitch like that every day, but Zach Greinke is now the 3rd best pitcher. That's a real problem. I stress my frustrations of the Yankees, but then I remember that the Yankees are 29 games over 500 at the trade deadline. They just swept the Red Sox. Their record in the regular season is insane, but on top of the Astros getting that much better, the injuries just keep piling up for the Yankees. You've only seen Giancarlo Stanton for 9 games this year. You haven't seen Luis Severino, and I don't think you're going to see him. You haven't seen Dellin Betances. I don't know if you'll see him either. And throughout all the other injuries, you see, it's just, they're countless. Brett Gardner just came off the IL. All right, you had Domingo Germán spend some time on the IL. CC Sabathia is on the IL. Now, you get Edwin Encarnacion, who everyone, when they traded for him, said, why do they need this guy? This is the overkill. Why aren't they trading for pitching? Well, Stanton went down and you needed Encarnacion. And now, Encarnacion goes down, and who do you need? You need Gio Urshela. You need, Mike Tauchman and Mike Ford and all these no-names that are producing for the Yankees. It's just amazing that they just keep winning and winning and winning. With all these injuries, you also get Gleyber Torres over the weekend. Going to the hospital with a core issue. It's just never ending. So, while I'm not concerned about them winning the division, after sweeping the Red Sox, and the Rays are just, they're not a team to really worry about, how does this Yankee team that's completely depleted of injuries, how do they compete in the postseason and potentially in the World Series if they even get there? I don't know that they do at this rate, and it's concerning, but they keep winning. So we'll see what happens. And now the Mets, I know, they won again. I know they won again. And then they won again, and I know. But let's just stop for a second. Yes, Robinson Cano gets injured. That doesn't help. But did the Mets bullpen magically get awesome overnight? No, it didn't. The Mets team as a whole, great overnight? No, it's not. Now I know all the Mets fans are going to jump down my throat and they're going to say, you just hate the Mets. You just enjoy watching the Mets lose. I really don't. I mean, obviously I'm a Yankee fan. When the Mets won the World Series in 15 against the Royals, I rooted for the Mets. I don't hate the Mets. I really, really don't. I just think that you guys are delusional. Look at who they're playing. They've played the Marlins and the Pirates twice and the struggling Twins and all these bad teams. But do you look at the schedule? Do you know who the Mets play over the next month? They play the Phillies and the Nationals, who they're chasing both. They play the Dodgers, who are the best team in baseball record-wise. They play the Rockies, who are not a bad team. They play the Braves, who are better than them. I mean, look at the schedule. You have to play the schedule. Now, nobody can predict the future. I know. But I know. They're not jumping over the Diamondbacks, the Giants, the Brewers, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the this, the that, the everything. They're not jumping over the whole world. I don't care that they're only 3.5 games or 3 games back, whatever the hell it is. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right. Football time. I know you guys love football. So with the remaining couple minutes that I have here, let's talk about that guy that I hate. Yeah, hate's a strong word. My mother always told me that. I tell my kids that, actually, but I really, really hate Tom Brady. I hate him because he's better than me. I hate him because he's better than the team on this shirt, the Jets. I hate him because I'm jealous. Yes, I admit it all. Tom Brady is the best quarterback that ever lived, one of the best football players that ever lived. He takes pay cuts and he adjusts salary and he does all the things that he needs to do to help his team win. He's 42 years old, and he keeps competing at a very high level. His team just won the Super Bowl last year, the New England Patriots, and I can't stand them. But, God, do I respect them. It's actually unbelievable how good, great, amazing the Patriots are. And yes, I am a diehard New York Jets fan. I'm wearing the shirt. You can see it. I bleed green. I might as well bleed green at this point. But it's unbelievable in this day and age. The day and age that makes it so hard to be a dynasty in the NFL, what the Patriots continue to do. It's just ridiculous. I mean, Belichick and Brady, 6 Super Bowls. I mean, Gronk retires. Edelman deals with suspensions. You got Ben Watson brought in, dealing with a suspension this year. If you can name, without Edelman on the field, because he's not on the field yet, if you can name the top 3 pass catchers right now at this current moment for the New England Patriots, I'll give you my salary for this year. I didn't think so. I can't name them. I can't name them. Nobody knows who these guys are outside of their mothers. It's just, they're a bunch of no-names, but that's the point. That's how good Tom Brady is. He wins with you, me, Chris Hogan. He turns anyone... You think you would have known who Deion Branch... No offense, Deion Branch. But you think anyone would have known who Deion Branch was if it wasn't for Tom Brady? Chris Hogan? Nobody knows who these people are if it's not for Tom Brady. And that's what makes him so bleeping impressive. This is the part where people walk across the street and I have to try not to run them over. So good luck with that. You guys join me on my commute home from CBS Sports Radio Network every morning, and we normally encounter some interesting things. That was a woman with no shoes, no sandals, no socks, no nothing, just barefoot, walking across the street. I could tell she looked lost. Just light turned green, and she's right in front of the car, in front of me. And that car just went. Well, the lady basically had to jump out of the way. So that was fun. All right. We got that going for us today. All right, enough about Tom Brady and how great he is. He's going to win another division in the AFC East. He'll probably go to another AFC Championship game, and unless something crazy happens, he'll probably go back to the Super Bowl, and we can all rejoice, and the world will continue to revolve and rotate and all those beautiful things that science has to do. It's just enough. So the reason we talk about Tom Brady today, though, is that he got another contract extension. And he's moving some money around. He's moving some funds around to make sure everything works out for him and the Patriots. And he's going to continue to collect checks with lots of zeros on them. His wife will continue to make more than he does. He'll continue living his best life, and we'll all love it. Let's move on to Yannick Ngakoue. This is a guy on the Jaguars who was part of the holdouts that we discussed last week. This is a very talented guy. Can get after the quarterback. All the other guys who've gotten paid who can do that, I don't know why this guy's not getting paid. And he doesn't want to lose what salary he has this year. He also, if he didn't report by tomorrow, which is Tuesday, he would have lost his eligibility and years of service for this year. So, I mean, the Jaguars just stuck it to him. And Ngakoue, instead of holding out, just really sticking to his guns, he showed up. He said, as much as I think I deserve a new deal like these elite pass rushers, I just want to play football. So he's subject to a fine of a lot of money, like 40% of his salary coming up for this year or something crazy. I don't remember the exact numbers, but he was set to risk like a couple $100,000 in his salary this year, just from sitting out as long as he did. But he shows up, no new deal, ends the holdout, and we'll see what happens with a guy like Melvin Gordon and Ezekiel Elliott and all these other people that are holding out. I don't think they're showing up just like that and just giving up, basically. Now, I get it. The guy wants to play football. But I don't know. Sometimes you got to take a stance, and especially in the NFL, it's really tough because, like I said before, the owners have all the power. Billionaires pay millionaires. Usually, the billionaires win. Now, to a sport where contracts are guaranteed, they're still making crazy money, but all the contracts are guaranteed. So Draymond Green is very interesting. Getting a massive extension. 4 years, $100 million. Warriors are out of money. And with Klay Thompson injured, they're putting a lot of their eggs still in this year's basket. Steph Curry, pretty good odds to win the MVP this year because he's pretty much going to be the only guy on the floor. I know Draymond Green will be out there. The newly acquired D'Angelo Russell will be out there. But this is 100% Steph Curry's team. No more Kevin Durant. Klay Thompson's hurt for a while. Steph Curry going to be steering the ship here. But Draymond Green getting paid 4 years, $100 million. Completely taps out the Warriors' salary cap. And it's an interesting move. I mean, he's a walking triple-double from the power forward position. Could give you 10, 10, and 10 every single night. He's a feisty defender. He's gritty. He gets all up in your grill. And he's usually your favorite player if he's on your team. You hate him if he's on the other team. And he has an affinity for kicking other players in their family jewels. So, say what you will about that. It's an interesting contract extension, and I'm not sure that I would have pulled that trigger if I were the Warriors. So, we'll see how this plays out. Warriors over-under in Vegas on wins is 48.5. It's a far cry for what they've been the last couple of years with Kevin Durant, but you essentially take Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson off the team and bring in D'Angelo Russell. You know, those essentially all the moves that they made. There's a couple other smaller pieces that moved around, and you also lose Andre Iguodala. You know, I guess you're set to win 10 to 12 to 15 less games than you're used to. So we'll see what happens. And on that note, I'm out of time. I'm out of money, so I guess the carousel will stop spinning, and this is the part where we part ways. So it's 6:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got guys cut me off on the road. That's also another sign that I need to go. It's August 5th. It's Monday. It's a happy beginning of your week. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope you're enjoying the Dave Talk Sports podcast, episode number 33. And, until Tuesday, See ya.